So I'm going to read 4 poems tonight. Weird. I'm going to read 4 poems tonight. So the first one and the last one are my version of religious poems. The middle 2 are about sex. So they all go well together. Wow. So I'm breaking all sorts of rules tonight. All right. So this first one is, I consider this kind of religious. It's called Chicago 1998. It's about the fire in our, what's the name of the church that burnt in Chicago, 1958? Our Lady of something. Our Lady of Mercy, I think. But it's about the fire that burnt in Chicago. A church burned down in Chicago in 1958. So this is Chicago 1998. Chicago 1998. Dog food eats itself. Like a horse late in December, the green fabric of youth falls prey to the slaughterhouse of tomorrow. Smelling of shit, hitting you hard in the face. Cool brown, mush, Chicago, 1998. This shit misses. Hitting instead, the man in the yellow hat. Bravo, bravo, he shouts, over and over, again and again. Insipid and useless, the man in the yellow hat. You cry out in boredom. He calls out to the wind, summoning the power against you, the presumed attacker. You cry out in the name of Ishtar, protect my future, protect my unborn. The wind snarls at you, beats against you, breaks you into small pieces, scatters you across the city. All is lost. The man in the yellow hat continues on his track along the sidewalk, toward a destination you can never know. All is lost. Chicago, 1998. All right, thanks. So these next 2 are shorter. Like I said, these 2 are about sex in some kind of weird way. The first one is called Call a Rose a Rose. So call a rose a rose. Plants are shameless in their sexual displays, with petals thrust open, awaiting, beckoning, alluring, calling out silently for the soft touch of a lover. Emblazoned, swollen ovum, ripening to red, fertile seed inside, preparing to nestle into the earth's soft womb of soil, gestating, then growing, naked for all to see. We hide our sex, and we strangle on the afterbirth. Call a rose a rose. I told you these were shorter. All right, the next one's also shorter. This one's called Winter Beach. I long to be wet in the winter. I imagine treading barefoot across snow-crusted beach sand and wading into winter waves. I limit myself to daily walks past the rock-laden shore, after work rambles down Beach Ave, a quarter mile from my home. Out of the way, on my way home. Walking slowly, I hear the crash of waves as they echo between Long Island and here. See the faint lights 15 miles away. Watch herons and gulls dancing at the edge. And all this cannot satiate me of my longing to be wet in winter. Winter Beach. Thanks. All right. So this next one is probably a little bit more religious. I read this one once before here. I wrote this poem probably like 2005, so maybe 20 years ago. It's called On Faith. I actually wrote this poem on top of East Rock in 2005. The streets of our city stretch perpendicular, a gridwork of grays under cloud shadows, sliding, distorting, over treetops and buildings. The contours of the landscape, the cluster of downtown, natureless in contrast to the surrounding greens of Woodbridge and Orange. Evidence of man made sparse from the bird's eye. Not even a thin trail of smoke rising from the chimney of some sylvan home. But downtown stands as proud monument to years of living without nature, surrounded by nature. In the midst of this sprawl of concrete and brick, from the long swaths of green lawn, framed by asphalt rivers, ferrying cars and buses, rise the spires of 3 Protestant churches almost 200 years old, reminders to passers-by, monuments to God's everlasting glory as their white-capped peaks unceasingly stretch towards the heaven just out of our reach. But on the edge of the town, rising behind industrial complexes and the slums of the State University, extending into the wilds of Woodbridge, above dammed reservoir, stands the sister, West Rock, now deserted, the once thriving, with picnics and tourists, children, and American steel, Whaley and Goff. Hidden from view, away to the north, lie the awkward, rounded hills of an ancient giant, the crowned head, scraped away by industrial vandals, his left hip weighed down by romantic tire from which one might view their surroundings without nature standing in one's way. And I stand alone on top of this third, East Rock, contemplating longevity, contemplating trinities, the three peaks of man built in God's name, and the three peaks of God rising even higher. How long will it take for the spires of God to crumble, and how long for his mountains? On faith. Thanks, guys.
I can think of no better place to recite such a poem than in front of this mural.
I know, right?
Really, it seems to fit. It all seems to fit. We're all right where we should be.